Hey guys, welcome to Deepwater Legends. Thank you for tuning in. Today we have a friend of mine, Lance LeHew. He is an entrepreneur in the fishing space. We're very excited to have him on. Hey Lance, how are you doing tonight?
Doing great. How are you guys?
We're
Good.
doing great. Thanks for coming on the show. So a little bit about Lance is I met him a couple years ago. He came up with a really interesting product. I haven't seen anything like it, and it's the trolling mate bucket. Since I've seen the product, I haven't left the dock without it once. Lance, you mind giving us some insight on the trolling mate bucket?
Yeah, absolutely. Just tired of tangled lures on the way out to fish and then spend 15, 20 minutes untangling them. Again, typical fisherman running the hook over the top of the bucket and then allowing your islanders and sea witches to drop down inside. And after bouncing around 50 miles offshore of Charleston, you typically reach in to grab one, you end up grabbing 10. So I thought it'd be a clever idea to find a way to keep those lures separated. So I came up with Trolling Mate. This is actually the insert number 2, which is a larger hole configuration along the outside and two of the larger holes in the center to hold your DTXs. I tell you, the thing that we're probably selling it the most for now is deep drop weights. We get a lot of folks that are ordering it just to carry their deep drop weights in. It's durable. It's mold injected PVC plastic made right here in Inman, South Carolina. So I can have it to anybody on the East Coast in 2 days. It takes about 4 to 5 days to get it on the West Coast. But you can throw this thing off a 5-story building. It's not going to break. The tubes all have holes in the bottom of it to allow for drainage, but again, you can kick this thing around and it's not going anywhere. But again, great for deep drop weights, good for your DTXs. Reason for the bigger hole configuration actually started out with the guys on the up from where you're used to fishing at, Nate, and that the guys fishing the mojos looking for the rockfish. The first design we had has a lot smaller hole design, holds a lot more lures. Great for sea witches, islanders, cedar plugs, jigs. But the guys in the upper East Coast were complaining they couldn't get their mojos in it, so hence the second design. But the second design again has been great for deep drop. And the other thing I like about it is I can actually stick it in a bucket of ice, and I can pre-rig my ballyhoo on my sea witches and my islanders, and I can drop them down in islander or ballyhoo first. So if I get a cutoff, I'm right back in the water. I can look down, see what color I want, which by the way, right now pink and white seems to be the hot color off Charleston. But pre-rigging our ballyhoo and dropping it in the insert with a little ice over top of it allows us to get a lure in the water. Instead of reaching in, grabbing the lure we want, and then rigging a ballyhoo, I'm pre-rigged, ready to go. Got 2
I know it
designs.
saved us a ton of time. I don't know about our listeners, but I know more often than not, a lure comes in, line's chafed or something, it just gets thrown in a bucket. Then a lure comes in, you want to change it out, it gets thrown in the same bucket. Before you know it, you got a tangled up mess of lines. And this bucket's been a game changer because it keeps everything separate. If you have something that's good, you can pop it back out, throw it back out. Before you're rigging, you do your rigging at home. You have everything in the bucket. You just clip your lines on, throw it out. I personally pack mine with ice as well, have the ballyhoo ready to go, throw it out there when I'm ready to go. And it's really been a game changer. I know the big ones for the DTXs keep those things secured and safe. They have some wicked hooks on those things. And the last thing we want to do is have someone hooked on the boat. We actually have a video of one of my friends up in New Jersey hooked on one, and it's terrible. We're cutting the barbs off and trying to get it out. And if I had one of those buckets, it would have been a game changer for it. Now, one of the things about Lance is aside from the trolling mate bucket, he has a bunch of other companies in the fishing space. And Last Cast Charleston, a 47 Viking out of Charleston, South Carolina, and they run for trips all the time. We had his other captain that runs the boat with him, Chase, on here a couple episodes ago, guy. And some of the other companies Lance has is he has a clothing company called Coastal Apparel. You want to tell us a little bit about that, Lance?
Yeah, so we thought it'd be kind of cool to take some of the fish that we've caught and design fish based on the looks of from the colors of the fish that we caught. So for instance, this is a sailfish that we actually caught. This is the photo that we took of the sailfish, and we were able to then print it right on a shirt. This is our wahoo shirt. Again, the image is taken right off one of the wahoo that we actually caught. And we have them in kid sizes from youth extra small all the way up to 3X. Here's our green mahi. We've all seen that color out in the water, as well as when we get them in the boat, they tend to turn that green. Also have the blue mahi. So again, just a mahi imprint. And this would be as you're holding the fish upright. And then we came up with some camos. And if you can, I don't know how tight you can get, but you can see those are actually sailfish. And then made a camo design out of moving sailfish. So we've got this is our black. I also have a blue background. But yeah, just thought it'd be cool to kind of mimic some of the fish that we catch offshore. There's such beautiful colors. I mean, even on this, we mimicked the polka dots that you see in the sail of the sailfish itself. But yeah, doing really well, especially by getting in front of people. You and I ran into one another down at the Mahi captain's meeting. And I think I sold 19 shirts that day. If I get in front of people and people see them, they absolutely love them. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
know my son absolutely loves his. He got one this weekend. I don't think he's taken it off since. I had to tell him, like, hey, Chase, you can't wear this to school every day. We'll get you more colors.
got to
He's
wash
got
it
the
once in a while.
sailfish camo one and absolutely loves it. And I think it's really getting him into fishing and getting fired up. A great option. I know it's got some ventilation on the sides,
Yeah,
so it
vented
doesn't get
side.
super hot. Like this one I'm wearing today, this thing is boiling hot.
No, it's a real lightweight material. It's real stretchy. You know, it's tight in the cuffs so that it's not constantly riding up. And the vented sides, it definitely, offshore, especially this summer when it gets really hot out there, especially the center console guys will love this shirt because it's very cool.
For
Yeah. So
boats and
you're seeing mine
businesses and
behind
stuff
me.
like that, tournaments.
Yeah, you see mine behind me. We got triple net on the back, so we can create an image. We do the line art as well. Send me a picture of the boat, not around any dock area, so we can kind of weed it out, and we can create team hoodies. We can do sweatshirts. We can do the fishing shirts. We can do cotton t-shirts. We also do the sticker decals. So there's anything in an apparel or anything to do with showing off your boat, we can certainly help you with. And that's
And
Coastal Apparel.
probably one of my favorite companies that you started is Fish Flags USA. These flags are absolutely excellent. As you can see, this one on the table, we're going to fly this weekend when we're competing in the Mahi tournament. These ones behind us, they are just excellent. The material that they're made of is extremely durable. It's super high quality, unlike a lot of the other traditional flags. You guys make them in both like the traditional outlines on the flags as well as more realistic flags like the ones behind us. How did you come up with the idea and what was really your driving factor with that? I know you guys are fishing all the time offshore. Do you have any kind of special stories that make it hold deep to you or anything like that drove you to do it?
It was just presentation. So Chase does a pretty good program of anytime somebody's got a first time catch with us, he was presenting them with the old traditional crappy nylon flag. And he would take a black magic marker and we'd write the boat name. He would sign it, I would sign it, the mates would sign it, and then we wrote the date and time that they caught that fish. And the marker would bleed. That nylon flag, the image is only imprinted on one side. They're very thin. It's just not a great presentation. So as we were starting to do the boat shirts, I got with the guy that makes my shirts. I'm like, listen, can you help me come up with a better presentation for a flag? And so we came up with this is micro twill. It will not hold water. You can hold my flag in a bucket of water for 5 hours and shake it off, and all the beads are going to shake off. It will not hold. I was worried about the outriggers having additional weight if it was raining, or God forbid they fly them while they're actually running, and any wind splash would get on it and make it real heavy. So they won't hold water. But again, they're double paneled, double sewn. They will last so much. Again, I tell people I'll probably put myself out of business because once you buy one of these flags, they're not gonna fall apart in 3 months like the traditional nylon flag, just waving in the wind. They start tattering at the end. I've had my American flag and my South Carolina flag on the back of the Viking now every day through, I think, 2 or 3 tropical storms and at least one hurricane, if not two, and they look great. They don't bleed. They're not tattering. The colors don't run. So just a really good high quality product. Now when we sign them, the markers don't bleed and it's just a really nice presentation to give to a customer. But they also fly well. They're a little heavier than the nylon, but we've got some tournament guys now that are flying them. Team Supreme down in Louisiana just won a tournament. They tagged us in a couple of their posts about their win. Fully spooled there in Charleston. They had a great day the other day. A bunch of sales. I think they may even had a blue marlin. They flew the flags, loved them. In fact, he just bought some more from me. Did some more of did some of the realistic flags. But yeah, just a good quality product, and I think it's a product that's going to last a lot longer than the traditional flag on the market. And they just look good. Happened to bump into one of the directors down at the Fort Lauderdale boat show who happened to be part of the White Marlin, and the two sisters up there were so impressed with the quality. I did this year the White Marlin and also did the Big Rock flags, and I've got a couple other tournaments that potentially doing the Alice Kelly and the Pirates Cove. But most things that people notice is the quality of the flag. And then we didn't even talk about probably the coolest part of it. If you find one, send me your boat name or the transom, but we can actually put your boat name right on the flag. So that's a boat out of Florida. This is Sport and Life in Charleston. In fact, just before I did these sailfish flags for him, he actually ordered them on a Wednesday. Obviously, they didn't come in that quick. And then Saturday, they went out and set the South Carolina record. They had 23 sailfish releases that day. So I did a specialty flag for them. But kind of cool. We can actually, if you send me a picture of the transom of your boat, we match it exactly. So there's Sport and Life. And of course, we know this one, the old triple net. But that's exactly as it appears on the back of the transom. So you can go to the website. There's a drop down underneath the flag. You can load in your photo. We do a mock up. Once you approve the mock up, we get the flags done. It usually takes about 12 to 15 days to print the image, sew them together, and then get them delivered out to you.
That is incredible. Yeah, we're so excited to fly these flags. Like they're just absolutely beautiful. These are the realistic flags. We have a bunch of them up here. Troy's flag's over there, the skunk. If you have a buddy that's not a good fisherman or you want to bust his balls, get him a skunk. Nothing's a better gift than watching somebody open up a skunk flag or having it in your pocket and flying it up on his outrigger when he's not expecting it at the end of the day. It is just an absolute great gift to bust someone's balls.
Yeah, we just had one of the local charter guys. He bought 13 of them and put 13 different boats on there throughout the marinas around the Charleston area, and I just delivered them to him. So I can imagine how much fun he's going to
Oh
have
yeah,
delivering those to each one of those boat captains.
it doesn't get better than that. I think the
Now,
better thing is like if someone's in your marina and you just fly it up on his outrigger before he's going out on a trip. It's hilarious. I think you need to make one with a banana on it also, Lance.
that'd be a good one. But listen,
Yeah, these
we'll put anything on a flag. We did a tournament the other day for some red-breasted bluegill or crappie, red-breasted crappie. The guy did 25 of them for some tournament that he's done for the last 5 or 6 years. And these guys are all on John boats. I told him to make sure to get me a picture of all these John boats flying their red-breasted flags. So we'll put anything on a flag.
you hear that? You hear that, Middle America? You largemouth bass guys, find a way to fly some flags. Lance will make a largemouth bass flag for you. He'll make catfish flags, anything you want to fly. We'll
Yeah,
find a reason to fly them. He does custom flags by order and also in all sizes. So if you have an interesting flag idea, reach out to him. Great guy. Fishflagsusa.com, trollingmate.com, and coastalapparelusa.com, correct?
that's correct. Yes, sir.
And Lance LeHew on Facebook, Instagram. You can reach out to him. You can reach out to him on Last Cast Charleston. Now we'll jump into the fishing. I know a lot of you guys are on this specifically for the fishing. Lance is a fishy guy. I have fished a lot of times with Lance. Every time we've came back, a couple times we came back with so many mahi in the boat, I thought the boat was going to sink at the dock. We spent hours filleting fish. Like there was one day I think we came back the next day to fillet fish. Like this guy knows how to catch them. When I first came to the South, nobody was really running side trackers. It was really a thing of the North. We run them all the time here, and they catch fish. And we're excited to announce the Sterling wide trackers will be coming on our podcast soon. You know who was running side trackers is Lance. He was on it and he knew that they were fire and that they were catching fish. So, Lance, what's your favorite kind of fish to catch?
For me, probably wahoo. I enjoy a good wahoo bite. There's nothing like hearing the reel go off on a nice sized wahoo smacks the line. Catching billfish is a lot of fun. I give Captain Chase a hard time. I'm not a big circle hook fisherman, and I can't stand the dredges. And the only reason I don't like the dredges is I work the cockpit on my own boat. Chase runs the helm.
Sounds like a bad deal.
Yeah, right. So constantly I'm hearing, hey, Lance, there's grass in the dredge. Yeah, Chase, bringing the dredges in, shaking them out, then setting them back loose for 20 minutes later. It's like, hey, man, I just ran you through some more grass. The dredge is full of grass again. I can't stand dredges. But
It's the worst.
it's fun watching the sails and the marlins cut through the spread. But I don't know. To me, nothing beats a good, solid wahoo runoff.
Yeah, I'd say wahoo's one of my favorite as well. I really love daytime sword fishing. I know a lot of people are like, that's so boring. I can't sit there that long and just watch the tip of the rod. But once you hook one, I mean, you're hooked forever. Like they can get so big and they fight so hard. Most of the time, you don't even get them. Like it's like a 50-50 kind of fish, but I'm just totally addicted to it. I'd ask what your favorite lure is, but we actually brought one on the table, a cedar plug. I don't know if you've ever seen one like this. This one is from Isbit Lures, and it has a chug head on it. Super effective lure. This is a large size. This thing is a monster. They make it in a bunch of different sizes, and this lure just kills as well. But I know you guys tear it up on cedar plugs, man.
We just you can't beat a black cedar plug. And I don't, the guy's down out of Cabo. He's got a huge following on Instagram and Facebook. But the other day he did one. He's had to rubber band the hook into it because it's gotten hit so many times. And I commented, I said, imagine that, Chase. Another guy dragging a black cedar plug. We were dragging a black and green one for a long time, and to the point where they were splinters, and we couldn't find them anymore. And then found out they didn't even make the green and black anymore. So we just started buying the blue and white, scuffing them down. We started out painting them the green and black, and then we slowly just dropped the green and went straight black. And the black is just fire for us. So we keep probably 5 or 6 of them on the boat at any. And there's days we'll lose all 5 or 6 of them, but whether it's tuna, it's wahoo. We've even caught a sailfish on a cedar plug. That cedar plug is just, it's always out in the spread somewhere. Whether it's on the shotgun or it's one of the longs, we've always got a cedar plug in the spread.
I bet Chase would drag a dredge if it could be made out of cedar plugs.
Yeah. If you could find a way to drag one fast enough, he would definitely put a bunch of cedar plugs behind a dredge. No doubt about
That
it.
needs to be his call sign is cedar plug.
Yeah.
Once you come back to Charleston area, Chase, you need to get a boat named Cedar Plug.
Cedar plug. Yep. That's probably nothing more fitting.
And I know you're a man of many boats. Your other boat is a 28 Sea Fox. I've been out on it many times. Great running boat. Probably the fastest guy to ever make it out to the Edisto Banks out of Charleston. I've been on that. It doesn't matter the conditions. You're making it there in an hour. And it's so fast, sometimes the door breaks loose. That boat's just phenomenal. We've had many hours and great times fishing on that for mahi, wahoo, blackfin tuna. What do you prefer? Do you prefer your center console or do you prefer your Viking?
That's a tough one. Getting close to 60 with a bulge disc in my neck, and I have little feelings in my left fingers. I prefer the ride of the Viking, no doubt about it, because once I get home for the day, I'm not tired. The Sea Fox tends to beat you up a little bit, but that's just true of any center console. But if it's a slick day, yeah, that boat will run 53, and they call me Hammer Down Lance, so I do tend to run a little bit harder than. Funny story, the very first time I ever took Chase off fishing, he was sleeping back in a beanbag, and I pulled back on the throttles, and he hopped and says, "Oh, P brake." I'm like, "No P brake. We're at the ledge already." He's like, "There's no way you made it to the ledge in an hour." I'm like, "Oh, yes, sir." I think that first day was really flat. I think we ran 53, 54 miles an hour, but he thought we were only about halfway and it was time for a P break, not realizing we'd run the full 50 miles and probably just add an hour. We were, you set the trim tabs right and get the trim working. That boat, I don't care how much of a rough time everybody gives about Sea Fox. I have had zero problems with that boat. And that boat it's like driving a sports car. It's really nimble with that electric steering and those dual 300s pushing that. I think that boat weighs 8,000 pounds. You get it dialed in, that boat, there's nothing faster out there. That boat really, really gets us out there quick. But yeah, as far as comfort, there's nothing better than the Viking. It's hot during the middle of the summer. Tuck away into the salon with the air conditioning and grab you something cold out of the refrigerator, and you got lunch and you got time to eat instead of bobbing around on the Sea Fox. So I think it depends on its days. I do like being able to see in the water column from the Viking. That's definitely a huge advantage that you don't realize coming off of a center console for as many years as I do, to watch a fish, come into the spread and bite one of your lures. You don't get that with the Sea Fox, but you get that all day long. In fact, I don't know, did you see I think I sent you that photo of the big marlin that Chase caught that actually smacked the mahi as they were reeling it in?
Yeah, that was an incredible photo with the mahi tail sticking out of its mouth. I'll post it up here so people can see it. It's just incredible. You guys are reeling in a mahi. Marlin comes in, eats it. They hook the marlin with it, are fighting the marlin. It's just an outstanding picture. Lance, zoom into its mouth.
Yeah, you had to, because when Chase, and I wasn't out there that day, but Chase said that thing came flying in, smacked the teaser, and then bounced off the teaser once he saw the mahi being brought in. And yeah, went straight for the mahi. So he whacked it twice and then just took off with it. But yeah, it was but Chase saw the entire thing. He called it out. He said, Marlin coming into the spread, and said, holy shit, he's heading straight for the mahi. So again, it's a very cool thing about the Viking is you get that top end presence and you can see the fish. And I know Connor was pretty excited. They actually pitched to a blue Well, it was the day that the transmission went out, Monday. But yeah, it came in whacking at the teaser really hard, and they threw a pitch bait right in front of its face and hooked up. So another nice big blue marlin. That thing was spunky. It was trying to outrun the boat down the port side. So it was a pretty cool video. But so, they each got their advantages. I like getting out there fast, and spending my time and be able to get back at a decent time. Obviously the Viking's a 2 hour trip out, but sure is nice when you come home and you're not all worn out from being bounced around in a center console.
Oh yeah, the older I get, the more I enjoy going into the air conditioning, having an air conditioned helm, and being able to just relax. I know one of the things I love is driving a Sportfish boat from the bridge. What I don't love is the wicked sunburn that you get a lot of times when you're facing into the early morning sun. So it's like a give or take on visibility and usability.
For sure.
I know a bunch of times we were out on your center console, we're like up on the T-top, standing up on the rails, kind of just get a little bit more visibility back into the spread, and it works. But when you're up on a bridge or up on a tower, it's just a way different feel to really be able to see back in there and the comfort level and stuff like you said.
Well, and I think your hookup ratio is a lot better because there's been times that Chase has called out, on the headset, start cranking on that right short, there's one right behind it, and you start cranking on it, and just that little bit of movement, and all of a sudden they grab a hold of it where they might have just looked at it and then peeled off. When you give them something that all of a sudden it looks like it's kind of pulling away from them, they get excited, and all of a sudden they bite. I think it, obviously has helped our hookup ratio or catch ratio and being able to maneuver that bait a little bit better to entice that fish to bite instead of just coming into it, looking at it, and then just, getting lazy and peeling off. If you make it look like that bait's trying to jump and get away from it. You couldn't see that from the back of a center console, but you certainly can from the bridge of the Viking.
So, what color lures are you guys having the most luck with this time of year? I know you're not in any of the tournaments, so you can spill the beans.
Pink and white. Everything has been really on pink and white this year. It's funny, in the 10 years I've been doing this, how every year it's a different color. One year it was nothing but rainbow, so I'd go into Hadrils and buy everything that had pink, blue, white, and it was pink, blue, white, and maybe a little purple in it. I'd buy every damn sea witch and every islander I could. And then the next year it was the blue and chartreuse. Bought every lure they had. And then the next year they didn't want to hit either one of them. Last year it was white. It seemed like we were getting a lot on the white sea witches and the black cedar plug. This year everything's been on pink, but again, the black cedar plug is still doing very well. But it seems like pink and white's pretty hot right now.
Yeah, we have a lot of luck on pink down south. Also, I know up north it's a lot of purple and black, a lot of dark green, like zucchini stuff. Down here's a lot of pink. There's another color that's super hot for us this year. We're not going to spill the beans right now because we are in the tournament. But in another month, we're happy to spill the beans once the tournament's over and tell you guys what color that is and what lure we're catching them on. But the fishing here is super hot. The mahi are coming in like crazy. I know right now, I think leading the tournament is like a 34 pounder.
34.77 pounds. Yep.
And so they're catching some decent fish. There's nothing that's unbeatable there currently. So hopefully we have some luck. I know we're praying to the weatherman for this weekend. It's looking rough as heck on Saturday. I think we're still going to send it no matter what, just because of our time constraints with work and stuff like that. So
You might
we'll
want to check
see
that.
if
You might want
yeah, if it doesn't get any worse, we're going to send it. If it does get worse, we're probably not. It is not looking good. It is not going to be a day for side trackers. We will see.
I
My
don't even,
back is going to be on fire on Sunday.
yeah, I don't even know
But
I'd push the
Sunday's
Viking.
looking much better. Unfortunately, it is Mother's Day, and I'm not willing to take that fight on personally. So one of the things we want to talk about is you own a Viking. A lot of people dream about one day owning a Viking. Tell us a little bit about the maintenance with the Viking. I know you guys took on a big service this year. What kind of stuff did you run into? I know you're a very capable DIY guy, more than the average guy. I know it was a significant amount of money and time that you guys put into that. What did that entail? And tell us a little bit about your current struggle with the boat, just so people know that it's not just about purchasing the boat, it's about maintaining the boat, keeping it operational. Of course, there's slip fees, there's fees for daily running. Like, it gets incredibly expensive fast.
Yeah, and before I bought the boat, a good friend of mine said, the expense on that boat's going to be 4 times what the center console was, and He wasn't anywhere close. It's a lot more than 4 times. Obviously fuel per gallon is a little bit cheaper, but the Sea Fox I could run offshore, run all day, run hard, as as we just discussed. And I might burn 140 gallons. The Viking burns almost consistently 300 to 325 gallons, and that's just a run to the ledge. If we push out deeper, like past the 226 hole, which this time of year or earlier, Chase certainly was. He had a couple days that were 380, 390. But whatever it costs you to operate a center console, add at least another zero, if not 2 zeros behind it, just to maintain the boat. And then insurance is extremely expensive. So, and again, I realize it's commercial, but to give you an example, my 28-foot Sea Fox, I think my insurance is $121 a month. The Viking is $14,000 a year, so it's a little over $1,000 a month for the Viking. Even dropping the commercial insurance, it's probably only going to drop down to about $9,000. So the second hardest thing is finding people to work on it. Some of that has to do with the size of our boat. We're not the biggest guys. As you walk down our dock, you see there's a lot of 60, 58, 63, 65. And, we were told without being told that, the problem with your 47 is your engine room's not walk around like everybody else's. So we got back burned. In fact, when we were told that we told them the 1,000-hour service was due, we kept being told, yeah, we'll get to you. And then we were finally told, well, you're next on the list. And literally the next day, they were on one of the tournament boats that hasn't even moved this year. But we did the 1,000-hour service probably 6 months ago. We were begging them to come down and handle that 1,000-hour service for us. And then they end up going down to a tournament boat that hasn't even moved off the dock yet in 5 or 6 months. And now I understand they went out to sea trial and ended up losing a transmission themselves. So it's probably now going to sit another couple of months. But so we took on the 1,000-hour service ourselves, just in gaskets and seals. And again, I do have man 800s, and they tend to be a little bit more expensive than the Cats or the Detroits. But it was almost $14,000 just in gaskets and seals. It didn't take long to start adding up. And then you take your coolers in to get them dipped. That was $5,000, and we had to have another part machine. That was $2,500. So yeah, it doesn't take very long, and suddenly the maintenance jumps up on you. So I was hopeful, the boat was bought with the intention of fishing it. As you know, I do fish quite a bit, and hoping that brings my fishing expense down to almost nothing, let the clients pay for it through the charters. But, truth be told, I lost a decent amount of money last year on 62 trips, and we lost better than $1,000 per trip by the time we paid out maintenance. And, that also includes relining all the reels 2 or 3 times in the fishing season. We lost a couple of dredges, lost a ton of baits, of course, but lost several teasers to wahoo, lost them to barracudas, lost them to sailfish. So that's all inclusive. So that's not just boat maintenance, but as a charter business itself. And so then I started sitting down with other charter businesses, and they're like, "Oh, you thought you were going to make money in this industry? There is no such thing, and at least not doing them on a sporty." And that's why you just don't see
the
many.
only way to become a millionaire fishing is to start with 2 million.
Or a billion. Yeah, or start with $1 billion and let it whittle down to $1 million. It's very costly to run that big boat. So again, you do offset the cost of that with the comfort that the boat brings. So again, middle of summer, it's nice having that air conditioning. It's nice having the refrigerator. It's nice having a microwave. It's nice having 2 beds, full bathrooms, so you can go in and use the bathroom, showers on board if need be, 2 very nice, comfortable couches, great sound system. So there's a lot of comforts to the boat. I don't know if it offsets what I spent last year operating that boat, but it's a big difference between that center console and that Viking.
And I guess the biggest thing is, I know you guys just had some recent transmission issues. You mind giving our listeners a peek into what that looks like? Like, I know I was part of a 3-boat program up north, and their budget was around $1 million a year for maintenance and personnel, and it was a really big program with new boats, and our hardest part was finding personnel to work on specific systems. Like, we were constantly flying people in from different areas and sometimes different countries to come fix certain items, just because it's so specific on what they have to do. I know you guys just lost a transmission, and you guys are figuring it out, and it's a fresh issue that you just ran into 2 days ago. What kind of costs are you looking at incurring with that?
All right, now the estimate on the table is 53,000. Bring them up, and again, the problem is the local guys, same guys that couldn't get to our 100-hour service or 1,000-hour service, are telling me they're 3 or 4 months booked out, and I don't want the boat to sit 3 or 4 months. As you know, I'm getting ready to head out of here in October for a real long trip, but so there were some guys down in Florida that were highly recommended, but just in their travel expense, they still charge you the same hourly rate. It's $194 an hour with 2 mechanics sitting in a truck driving from Florida up here. They charge you full retail, and then they charge you $3 a mile for every mile driven on their vehicle to get here. Just in travel expenses, almost $26,000 of that 53. So the rebuild itself is not really that expensive. It's getting somebody here to work on it. When I first bought the boat, we thought we had a turbo issue. Had 2 local mechanics ride on it, tell us it was wastegates. Couldn't get them to get the wastegates for us, so Chase and I bought wastegates ourselves and put them on. Made no change to the way that the boat performed. So I actually got on a man Instagram page or Facebook page and posted the problem we were having. And I had some guy from California call me. I ended up flying him out here a couple times to do service on the boat. He changed out some injectors, but now he's just gotten too busy that he can't take the time to fly out here. But again, I was paying him a full day's wage plus airfare to get him here, put him in a hotel. But at least he could get to me. And it turned out that problem ended up being Raycor filters. 2 $20 Raycor filters. I don't even know they're $20. It might be $11 a piece. Was our initial problem that we thought everybody here locally told us it was a turbo issue. So the biggest thing is finding people that can respond. Now, if you got a brand new $10 million Spencer and you have a problem, it's amazing how quickly those guys will respond. They'll get there pretty quick. Our lower budget guys, we tend to get back Bernhard. So finding people to come work on any type of system is very, very difficult.
So you young guys, you hear that? Go become the best mechanic you can. You can get flown out to these beautiful destinations to work on these boats and get paid an arm and a leg to
For
do
sure.
these services. You just have to be available and good. So with that said, we're going to switch it up to something better. You have one hell of a trip planned coming up. I am jealous. You are going to go cruise the Caribbean and South America and all these great destinations for the next 2 years. How do you go about planning something like that? What are your top priorities when you're choosing where you're going, and what are you looking for? Like, I know you're leaving shortly after hurricane season. Where's your first stop? What are your thoughts going into it? What are you looking forward to the most?
Just visiting the islands. This isn't really a fishing trip. There will be fishing involved. In fact, the more people that we've let know that this trip is happening, the more response I've gotten from current clients that fish with us regularly that, hey, when you're in Trinidad and Tobago, or to start off with, we'll start through the Bahamas. We've got a couple guys that want to fish down through the Bahamas, but I'm actually probably going to skirt the Bahamas pretty quick. And then I'm going to probably spend a month down in Turks and Caicos. And then I've already paid for slips for December, January, and part of February in Dominican Republic. And that's been probably the hot spot of past clients wanting to come to. And there is so much written about Cap Cana and the fishery out of Dominican Republic last year. I think the Viking team down there, like it might have been 7 or 8 days in a row, had like 8 grand slams every day. So it's been becoming a very popular fishing destination. So we'll be down there December, January, part of February. And then from there, I'm going to head over to Puerto Rico. Really, Puerto Rico, it sounds like fishes the same waters that the Dominican Republic fish. So I'll probably use that more as just touring that island. And then I'm going to move over to the U.S. Virgin Islands and eventually over to the British Virgin Islands and then start turning south down through Antigua, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago. And then the choice will be turn around and come back or bop across the top of South America, lock through the Panama Canal, and then come up the west side of Mexico and California and potentially sell the boat in California, grab an RV, and come back across country.
That's awesome. So your ultimate destination is coming back to the Charleston area?
Somewhere. I don't know if it'd be Charleston, maybe Atlanta, maybe South Hilton Head area. Don't have anything set in stone yet. How I might find an island down there we can't live without. May have to live down there for a little while. I really don't know. This is the planning that's gone into it is talking to previous boat captains that have made similar journeys and just talking to them. I am talking to a captain right now out of Venezuela that has done all of this. In fact, he's over in Spain right now. It's funny. He's in Spain on a boat out of Pirates Cove, out of Mentillo, North Carolina. He's running a boat for them, but they're pulling out, and he's looking for a next job. And somehow he got hooked into me and started calling me, and we've been talking quite a bit. So I may hire him through some of the islands that we're going to fishing wise. But yeah, just talking to previous captains. But the trip's really more about getting to know the islands. I spent 5 weeks down in the Dominican Republic last July, just Airbnb-ing and resorting all across the country, and absolutely fell in love with, just finding new destinations and anything in the Caribbean. So it's more about exploring the people and the islands than it is really about fishing.
And there certainly can't be a more deserving guy. I know you paved your career in the body shop, working your butt off, and finally being able to relax, loosen the belt, and go enjoy the Caribbean islands sounds amazing.
I mean,
The
look,
only bad part about that is Atlanta does not have a beach, man. You got to
I
land
know.
somewhere with water because once you're a boater and a fisherman, you can never not be. Definitely don't get a sailboat.
I got kids and grandkids. No, we go by. We've got some friends that are sailboaters, and we always yell at them, "Get a motor, nerd." But I've got kids and grandkids up in Atlanta, so. But yeah, we'll probably get back here to the beach area and back to fishing and back to boating at some point. But yeah, this is just yeah, I spent a lot of time in the collision industry. I mean, look at me, I'm 36 and I look like I'm almost 60. That's a rough That's a rough industry now. So I am getting close to 60, and I want to try and get this out of the way before. And my parents are, going to be 80 here soon, and God forbid something should happen to them. So let's get this trip out of the way. I didn't want to be tied down to cruise schedules or airline schedules. So I thought, what better way to do it than take my own boat and get the trip out of the way, and then that way I can be back home. And I've got 2 teenage daughters that'll be graduating soon, and get them through college, and then be able to be around home and say that I did the trip of a lifetime and help take care of others, especially as my parents begin to age.
One place not to sleep on, specifically during hurricane season, is the Northeast Canyons, man. That place is just fire. I've spent 10 years fishing up off of New Jersey area, and it is just outstanding. Like their fishery, every time you turn around, it's better than the last. And I highly recommend it. Very safe area to spend. Now, during your trip, do you have any like bucket list fish that you're looking to catch that are out of the ordinary? Are you going after striped marlin? Are you going after anything specific? Is there anything that you're like, I have to have one of these before I call this trip off?
No, I don't think so. Again, I really didn't plan this trip around it being overly fishing. I mean, yes, we're definitely going to fish it as we go, but it's really more about sightseeing the islands. Again, the cool thing that I found about the Dominican Republic is here it's a Caribbean island, but they've got a couple of mountains that actually hold snow during their winter. You don't think that in a Caribbean country, but the altitude change was pretty spectacular, and some of the waterfalls, and literally the downtown areas were so congested with mopeds that it's dangerous. I mean, nobody obeys traffic signals down there. They blow through traffic lights. They pass you on the left. They pass you on the right. But then you get up in the upper mountain areas and replace the mopeds with horses. And I'm not kidding you. There were more horses running through town and mules running through town than there were mopeds. So it was, again, just a crazy sight in a third world country that they have their means of transportation. And if it's not mopeds in the inner cities, they were riding horses and mules through some of the high regions. But yeah, I think it's just more about trying to see the Caribbean life, from a different angle, not flying in and trying not to be a tourist. Try to be beyond of a tourist and see some of the areas that most people won't get to. Yeah, definitely want to fish some of them. I think striped marlin would definitely be a trophy fish if you're going to say anything. But, I think just the availability to see the amount of bites that they get down there in this sailfish and the blue marlin, I think that in itself will be incredible. I know guys see it in Cabo, they see it in Venezuela, but to be able to hop from island to island and say that you had you went 36 for 50 one day, that'd be pretty cool.
Now, what are your plans for your companies while you're gone? Are you still keeping them operational? Are you planning on selling your companies or anything like that?
No, Trolling Mate, as you know, I got a partner with Bill. The clothing and flag business, I hate to say, but I really only need somebody at this point to do shipping because I handle everything. Everything comes in through my cell phone. So whether it's through Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Shopify, 2 of my shops, so the Coastal Apparel and the flag business, are run through Shopify. Bill wanted to go through GoDaddy for the trolling mate. But so much of it, it's getting images, it's doing a mock-up, and then sending it back to the owner, getting approval, and then sending it to the staff to get printed, sewn, and then shipped. So right now, everything comes to my doorstep. I unpack it, I repackage it, and then send it out to my customers. That's probably where I'll need the help, is just somebody. And my brother owns Shane's Baits. Again, we're kind of a fishing family. My nephew being a pro bass fisherman on the Bassmaster. His and I's seasons are almost opposite of one another. So the rig business does really well in October and November, and then shuts down in December. And then we all know the bill bite starts about now. And so right now, is my busiest time with the flag business. So I may turn it over to him. I've got 2 young daughters I originally talked to, but I think their interests are kind of dwindling. They're getting ready to head into college. And so, but we'll figure it out. But I'll definitely stay involved in it. I'm not going to just turn it over to somebody else. I want to make sure that things are being handled the way that they should. But we'll figure it out. But yeah, all 3 businesses will certainly continue to grow and prosper. And yeah, really looking forward to big things with fish flags, especially now that we're getting heavier into the tournament flags and people are starting to see the quality, and we're changing how people look at the old school sailfish and marlin image. And now, as Nate, above your head's my blue marlin. I just think that more realistic flag just has a much better presentation than the old school. So we're getting people. Most of my bait and tackle stores, I've got 12 now, I think, bait and tackle stores that carry my flags. Almost all of them are switching over to the more realistic look, and they're all branding their tackle stores on it. So just like we put the boat name on it, we also do tackle stores, and we brand it with the tackle store name on there. It keeps their customer coming back to them. I didn't bring one that's packaged. We put them in a 6-inch by 9-inch Ziploc bag, so that way the customer's got something to put that flag back into. And then I got a cardboard header that says fish flags, just like the flag there in the middle. But I've got several of the bait and tackle stores that pay me extra, and we brand it with them. So we change out that cardboard header, and we put the tackle store logo on there. And that way, when it's hanging on their shelves, it's not fish flags. The only place you see fish flags is right on that sewn seam right here at the very top. But otherwise, here where this boat name is branded their bait and tackle store. And that's the idea, is to keep those customers coming back to them and, not coming to me. I'd rather the tackle stores they're the ones that are in front of the people every day. So I'd rather they got the opportunity to make that sale.
Yeah, nothing makes me prouder than cruising back through the rivers and the marinas with a bunch of flags hanging, because you can't really hold up 10 mahi, but I can fly 10 mahi flags any day of the week. And it's just such a great feeling when people know, like, man, those guys went out and just killed it.
Yep.
Like, people are cheering you from the waterfront restaurants and cheering you on, and it's just the best feeling in the world is to come back. You absolutely killed it offshore. Everybody knows that you killed it offshore. And
Yep.
you got tons of flags. Now, maybe it's different if you're going to get giant bluefin like 5 miles off the coast and you don't want people to know. But when the fishing's hot and you come back and you're like, man, we did a good job, and then everyone sees that and they're running out from their houses and they're like, holy smokes, these guys are nuts. Like,
Yep.
it doesn't beat it. Like, I know I used to fish with a guy from New Jersey, Stan, and we used to fly the flags on the outriggers from the canyons, 105 miles from the canyons the whole way back. Like,
You guys
people
were
are calling
excited.
us on the radio, like 57 miles out. They're like, you guys smoked it. It's like, yeah, we did. That might be a little overzealous. Maybe wait till you get a little bit more inshore. But if you don't, these flags will hold up like nothing, man. These flags are good quality. You're going to really show it off. I wish we had these flags back then, because these look excellent. Like the new style fish really show great detail. It looks like the exact real fish, and something you can be proud of. You spend a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort going out there getting these things. You might as well fly these flags coming back, letting people know you went out and whacked them. And if you didn't, there's the one above Troy that you can fly to show them that you didn't whack them. And that flag's just as fun.
Yep.
I'm sure Lance can make one with the beer, like all we call it was a buzz.
Yeah, we can make that as well.
Maybe don't fly that one near game wardens.
Yeah, I'll tell you, actually, the thing that's even better is to see the smile on the customer's face when we hand them one. When we've signed it, dated it, and we hand that off to them, man, there is no better smile. And the amount of guys that I'll see at a gas pump, hey, we've fished with you guys, and I still got my flag. I put it in a frame, and it's hanging in my office. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's it's great for us fishermen to fly them. We all know internally it's our bragging right how many marlin or how many mahi we caught that day. But to see a former client that's been on our boat and talk about the one thing they want to talk about is the flag that we presented them as that giveaway really means a lot. And again, we were loaded this year on charters. We were booked more than we probably needed to be. But I think a lot of it's just how great a job Chase takes care of the clients out there, and some of the extras that we do that show the client that we appreciate them being out there, and we know that they had a good time, and we reward them with that good time with a take home souvenir.
And there's no better advertisement than a happy customer. And when they're showing off that flag in their office, that is a fish that they're super proud of, whether it's a first or a biggest or their most recent. And they're showing them, it's got your boat logo, name of the charter, phone number, stuff like that. Like, who are you going to book? Like, if my friends show me a flag of a marlin with a boat name on it, and he's like, this is what charter I caught it on, I'm going to them too. And such a small price for these charters to pay to offer it to their customers, even if you charge them extra for it. Like, I can promise you, I fish more than the regular guy, caught pretty much everything that you can catch on the Northeast. If I was on a charter and I caught something cool and they offered me a flag, I'd still take it every day of the week. I don't
Absolutely.
care if it's an extra $50. Like, you bet your butt I'm taking that flag
Yeah.
because I want to remember the time. I want to remember the crew I was with. I want to remember the charter. And it's just an excellent opportunity to go that little bit above and beyond that you just don't get on a normal charter trip where people just imagine like the old crusty charter captain that's bitter. And it's just like a fun way to remember it. And if it's your first, you can get a pink flag. You can jump off the dock with it, get your video, keep the flag. It's an excellent time. The videos make for excellent videos to be posted online, and people can really be proud. Like, it's hard to get out of the perspective of like, oh, we do this all the time and we come back with these fish, and it's like most people don't go out and catch marlin. Most people aren't catching mahi and giant bluefin tuna and swordfish and sailfish and stuff like that. And it's important to bring yourself down to earth when you're fishing with these kind of people, because it's quick to overlook something like that when it's like, hey, this is a core memory for these people. First is just like, hey, this is another amberjack to the boat. Like, some people have never seen like a 40-pound fish, let alone caught one.
Well, people get excited about the barracuda.
Oh yeah, Chase is the best
we
at
all
catching those.
We all know as guys out fishing, we hate catching those, but clients don't care. They're happy just reeling something in. It doesn't always have to be that fish of a lifetime. Just to them, it's just it's the drag going off and the reeling in of whatever fish it may be. Another one that's become very popular is we created an offshore slam flag. So it's got the white marlin, the blue marlin, and the sailfish. That's actually a tournament
That is
down in Cabo,
awesome.
did a whole bunch of them as well. But a lot of the bait and tackle stores are starting to load up on the slam flags. And I also have a inshore slam that's a trout, a redfish, and a flounder. So the slam flags do very well for us as well.
You got to make
Great
one for
client
these guys in
giveaways.
like the Big Rock. You got to make one for the guys in like the Big Rock and the White Marlin Open with like a big thumbs up on it, like potential winner. Like, we're coming in to weigh something big. So that way when
Yeah.
people are looking on the live on Facebook and Instagram and stuff, they're like, okay, I'm tuning into this sucker. See it coming in from 10 miles away. This is worthy of watching.
It's got a big hammer on it.
'Cause I don't know about you guys, I am glued to the screen during the first week of August. Like, and when I see all my friends coming into the White Marlin Open, it's like, man, this is going to be crazy because they're all booting each other off the board. You never know who's going to win. I mean, we secretly know who's going to win. It's going to be Dante, but like, those guys are just weighing tremendous fish, and it's always an excellent time. And I know I can't keep from watching it. Like, I'm at work with it on a second screen and stuff. It's like the Super Bowl of fishing. And it's awesome to see you guys are the flag manufacturers for the White Marlin Open. You got to come up with something like, make sure to watch this weigh in. Like, it's going to be good.
Yeah. We did White Marlin and the Big Rock this year, so pretty proud of that.
That's awesome. So, anything big in store for you? Any other ideas for companies? Or you kind of wind it down before you take your trip?
You never know. You never know what might come up. Again, these all came out of what I saw as being necessities, or certainly the apparel business was more about fun, just taking the brilliance of the colors of fish that we caught and putting them on shirts. The trolling mate came out of the necessity of getting tired of tangled up lures. And, we made some additions to it for the second model that definitely helped the fishermen tremendously. The flags was just, again, about a better presentation, just something that looked better than what was currently on the market. So I don't know. You just, as Chase says, it's Lance doing Lance things. Who knows what that next opportunity will
Oh
be?
yeah. I just love your entrepreneurial spirit. Like I remember one time you showed me that you were making like a non-molding beanbag chair and it was like, "Oh my gosh." And you had one on your boat and I was like, "Where can I get my hands on this thing?" Let me know as soon as those are released because I can't wait to get it. I'll be customer number 1. Those things were tremendous. And anything else you come out with is just instantly incredible. So I'm excited to see where it goes. Imagine you're going to get into the cedar plug business at one point or another.
I would have continued with the beanbag operation, but getting the beans themselves, the styrofoam to a client is so expensive. Getting I think we created what was probably one of the best boat beanbag chair. It's made out of cloth, so they don't get hot like the vinyl ones. They did not. I ran them for 3 years. They did not mold or mildew. The reason I stopped is I couldn't find a inexpensive way to ship the particle, the inside material to a client. Because by the time you either fill the bag with it itself, the bag becomes so expensive to ship. So I thought about selling the bag separately and the foam separately, but even shipping the foam to a client became so expensive that there just wasn't a lot of margin left in it. What are those things sell for? $150 now? But I may continue with
Let
that
me
one.
tell you guys, out of personal experience, even if they came out at $350, it is well worth it. Like these things are next level. I highly suggest it. I hope that Lance comes out with them. If you don't come out with them, still come out with them for us. I will buy them. They are incredible. And definitely keep your eyes on him because anything this guy comes out with is certainly a quality product. Everything's better than the last. Like I said, these flags are absolutely excellent. If you can't tell, the quality here is unmatched. Like I've had countless of the other flags. They're like plasticky, they mold, they are cheap, they tatter in the wind. These things are like silk, they're beautiful, and it's just a superior product by far. If you're a guy that hangs flags, you need them. If you're a guy that doesn't hang flags, you need them. You just need these things with your boat name, without your boat name, with your tackle shop name, anything you can do. I'm telling you, you want these flags. They're just great. The new style fish, I wasn't sure how I'd feel about them. After seeing them in person, I was like, I have to have them. Like these are excellent. Like, why wouldn't I want realistic fish on the highest quality flag that I could have? And I can tell you, when I go to get a new American flag for my house, the first person I'm reaching out to is Lance. When I want a new flag for Deepwater Legends, the first person I'm reaching out to is Lance. Like, these flags are just incredible. And he really struck a great point. I didn't think that I would need new flags. I do. After touching them, it's like, you know what? I found another kind of fishing gear I need. You never have enough. I know that you need to start selling them in kits, Lance. People aren't just catching one fish, they're catching a bunch. You need to sell these mahi ones in packs of whatever the mahi limit per person is. You need to sell the marlin ones in packs of 10. Boat flags, like where someone can go on and buy a whole kit. Like, hey, I want to outfit my boat in flags after watching this show. Where can I buy the whole kit for what region I'm in?
We actually, if you look at the website, we've got it. We've got an offshore kit. We've got an inshore kit. We've got a meat flat. We got a meat slam kit. So they're actually on the website listed that way.
Oh, even better. Yeah, because when you guys go out and you catch 10 mahis, you don't want to fly one mahi flag. You want to let them know who's the boss hoss. You want to fly 10 mahi flags.
That's
If you
right.
catch 11, you're going to wish you had one more.
Yeah. Always.
Oh yeah, like, and you can never have enough because like there's going to be that day you go out and really kill it, and you're going to want to come back, even if it's over limit, and you let a bunch go. You're going to want to fly a bunch upside down as well because you want to let everybody know I went out and killed it. I made it worth my time, worth my money,
And
my
release them.
skill set showed today.
Yep, for sure.
So, in closing, I just want to let you guys know first off, Magic Tail Outfitters. These guys are excellent. They win every tournament. Buy their stuff. Not because I'm telling you, but because it is good. It's stuff we use all the time. We're proud to use it. Their offshore stuff is excellent. Their inshore stuff is excellent. They have stuff for tog. They have stuff for stripers. They have stuff for amberjacks. They have stuff for sheep's head, redfish. They got stuff for tuna, mahi, wahoo, anything you could catch. These guys have it, and their rods are second to none. Also, Lance, thank you for coming on. You can get Lance's fine products at fishflagsusa.com, coastalapparelusa.com, and trollingmate.com. Like I said, the Trolling Mate is the product that you didn't know that you need. As soon as you watch this or hear this, look it up. You need it. That thing is incredible. We use it for vertical jigs all the time. We use it for Who Magics, Joe Shoot Lures, our Sea Witches all the time. It works for cedar plugs. The Nomad one is incredible. It can work for nomads. It can work for deep drop weights. It works for absolutely everything, and it keeps it from being that tangled mess. It's already a pain in the ass when you get home. You have to clean the boat, wash the gear, and all that stuff. The last thing you want to do is spend an hour and a half untangling lures and untying knots and realizing hooks are rusted when you can just have it in a bucket that you hose off and it's good to go. It has hook holders in it, holds them separate. It's an absolute excellent product that we do not leave the dock without. And thank you for coming on, Lance. We appreciate it. Do you have anything to say in closing?
No, I really appreciate you reaching out to me and having me on. Always a great opportunity to speak with you and talk about fishing. And hopefully we get the boat fixed and get back in the water here soon. Finish up what will probably be a little bit of our remaining charter season, even though we'll probably be out chasing the blues and the sails into June and July. I wish you guys continued success, and I hope you guys kill it in the Mahi tournament. Looking forward to that.
Thank you very much. And it's always a pleasure talking with you. I look forward to seeing you down at the dock. Hopefully, your boat stuff comes to an end here quickly. You guys are
Yeah.
back on the water. Luckily, you have a backup boat. I know you're going to try to switch some charters over to it. If you have any open dates, Triple Net, Last Cast Charleston also has a beautiful center console boat. You want to book with these guys before Captain Chase leaves. He's an incredible time. He did an episode here. You can look it up. It's like 5 episodes ago. You want to fish with him. If he has available trips and available times, don't miss your chance to fish with it. And I'm telling you, you won't be sorry. These guys are an excellent time. They play great music. They drive really fast. You'll be out there in no time,
Yeah.
especially if Lance is on the boat. And
Yes.
you'll catch fish more than anything. These guys are absolute slayers, pleasures to be around, and excellent guys out on the water. Be safe on your trip, Lance. If any of you guys see Lance during his trips and you happen to be cruising through the islands, make sure to say what's up. Make sure to check out fishflagsusa.com. I'm telling you, you need this thing. Trollingmate.com. These products are awesome. Thank you for coming on. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir.